Hey guys, so I'm excited to make a video on cinema sins, everything wrong with Avengers Endgames, because I know that they're biased towards the MCU, so I was kind of curious of what exactly they would send the Endgame for. Don't really expect it to be much. Most likely just, usual sinning shit just to, be snarky and stuff like that, but, so let's just get right on into it.
Lila?
Hawkeye's entire goddamn family gets snapped away. His wife and 3 children. In Ant-Man 2, more Ant-Man, we saw Scott lose everyone around him when he went into the quantum realm. We saw both Fury and Maria Hill disappear, and meanwhile, Craig and his family are completely okay. You hear that, Craig? You and your stupid family, Craig. 34 seconds of
How's that a sin?
Holy thank God it finally showed up. I thought I was gonna pass out. I feel like Ethan Hunt getting a
It's like literally an observation.
So the fuel cells were cracked during battle, and we figured out a way to reverse the ion charge. Bought ourselves about 48 hours of flight time.
Why the did they take off in this ship without inspecting every last detail? I know the urge to go home is strong, but they could have stayed on Titan for a while to potentially find supplies, fix whatever needed to be fixed, and find fuel from at least 2 ships that crash-landed during that fight, Nebula's Necrocraft and the Q ship. I feel like this whole thing was made up just to get Captain Marvel involved. Wait, each of these sinks in this bathroom have individual shaving mirrors? Is that really necessary? Seems like the Avengers could divert their interior design budget to, like, I don't know, alien missile defense, which would come in very handy later in the movie. Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't know what movie she's in this scene.
He did exactly what he said he was going to do. Thanos wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
Even though the world governments are in pieces, they were able to take not only an impromptu census, but also a cat and dog census. And who cares if it was 50% or not? If you wiped out 10%, the situation is still
Honestly, into this exact second, I thought you were Build-A-Bear.
Har har, Tones. This falls just as flat as what he called Ebony Maw Squidward in Infinity War. Rando pop culture references don't always equate to comedy, movie.
We're the Avengers, not the pre-Vengers.
Okay.
Right?
You made your point. Just sit down, okay?
No, here's my point. You know
Tony,
what? She's
just sit,
great.
sit down.
Pick a lane, movie. Either Tony is so upset that he can't think straight, or he's just lighthearted enough to make whimsical comments about Captain Marvel and call Rocket a Build-A-Bear. It can't be both.
I can tell you what Thanos is.
Where has she been this whole time? Did they not allow her in the meeting? Geez, so much of that previous scene could have been totally avoided.
To the garden.
That's cute. Thanos has a retirement plan.
Do the Avengers have a quota of snarky wisecracks that have to be inserted within certain intervals? That's annoying. I'm built on snarky movie wisecracks, and I don't even have a quota.
No one's ever seen anything like it. Until 2 days ago, on this planet.
Wait, did you figure this out because Nebula said she knew where Thanos was? Or did you just run a diagnostic on power surges? Why didn't you do that before? All Nebula knew was the garden, so that didn't help you with your power surge report.
And where the hell have you been all this time?
There are a lot of other planets in the universe. And unfortunately, they didn't have you guys.
How did the story of Thanos looking for the Infinity Stones elude you in your travels?
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it will, because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Go back to the Fantastic Four?
After that, the stones serve no purpose beyond temptation.
Has anyone in this universe learned not to shove somebody who's being held in place for a good goddamn reason? Why did Captain Marvel even let go of Thanos anyway? Doesn't matter in the end, but Jesus!
Well, he used the stones to destroy the stones.
Weird. I used my farts to cover for other farts, but there were still farts left over, so what gives? Lizzie Thornton. Movie gives us the actual time it takes for this text to show up on screen. So nearly 4 billion people are left on the planet and nobody's good enough to play baseball? Or is this more of a comment on the Mets' attendance?
And that's it. That's those little brave baby steps we gotta take.
Good for Cap getting involved in group therapy, but what is this group? Is he the leader? Did he form it? Did he print out all those flyers, or did he do a Facebook post? Is there free coffee? Is there still Facebook? Are they in the city? God damn it, this group is never mentioned again, and I'm furiously curious about it. I think the thing that's most infuriating about this rat is that a simple press of a button gets Scott back. At the end of Ant-Man 2, Die Antwoord, the Pims had initiated a return sequence that they were unable to finish because they were snapped away. But this button turns everything back on as if computers just bookmarked they were doing 5 years ago. I guess it's possible a good number of waste management employees were dusted, causing trash to pile up temporarily, but it's been 5 years, and that's 5 years of the population creating only half the trash that they'd previously produced. So why is it built up on the streets like this is the road or some shit? This list of vanished people has an order I'd describe as pseudo-alphabetical. It's got a lot of names that start with L-A-B, but a few L-A-M and L-A-Z and L-A-N mixed in. Whoever did this memorial is a wonderful person, but a dick to efficiency. Scott is looking at this stone with these names here, and this will eventually be the one where he sees his own name at eye level. But Scott Lang is nowhere in the middle of this tablet until the movie cuts, and neither are the other people. Once again, teleholograms will have a normal conversation with each other like they're literally standing in a room like this, when in fact they're all by themselves, in some sort of holo booth that I would just once like to see in operation. If they're wearing VR, we'd see it on their holograms. If they have a panoramic video screen around them that is tied to a certain channel, then where is camera?
Sorry, that must have been a very long 5 years.
Yeah, but that's just it. For me, it was 5 hours.
Directors accidentally filmed Paul Rudd talking about his real life and put it in the movie. Also, if the quantum realm makes years seem like hours, why did Michelle Pfeiffer look 30 years older when she got rescued from it? And if there was a relative time difference, why were Hank and Scott able to talk over a radio in real time at the end of Ant-Man 2, Antebellum, Parabellum?
What if there was a way that we could enter the quantum realm at a certain point in time, but then exit the quantum realm at another point in time?
So you spent 5 hours in the quantum realm, and because of relativity, that was 5 years on Earth. The problem is, in both the quantum realm and in the outside world, time was moving forward. So why do you think there are points that you can go to just because of your 5-hour experience with relativity?
So who do we talk to about this?
How about a fucking quantum physicist? Look, I know Tony's brilliant, but this has never been his forte. If anything, Scott himself should know some more appropriate scientists through his associations with Hank. Why not see if Larry Fishburne is still alive?
We could go back, we could get them.
Sure, getting your friends and loved ones back is a noble idea, but it's also morally murky. Remember, life has been going on for 5 years now. People have moved on. People are in new marriages. Some dangerous people who used to torment others are out of the picture. This would cause even more chaos and be like Castaway times 3.5 billion.
Model rendered.
Holy Tony solves the eternal question of time travel in less time than it took to actually write the scene. Why the does Pepper need 5 lamps and 1 lit candle to read a book about composting?
Trying to get you to stop has been one of the few failures of my entire life.
Pithy one-liner aside, he totally stopped. He's out here raising a family in a goddamn cabin in the woods, washing his own dishes and tucking his kid into bed at night. He's not out there Iron Manning anymore, so this line is a big old sack of
Okay, here we go. Time travel test number 1.
This test is not successful, but it's also not unsuccessful, in that they do actually transport Scott over time. So this means that 2 scientists have made giant breakthroughs in time travel over the same roughly 12-hour period.
A fully functioning time-space GPS.
It's weird to me that Tony knew enough of Hank Pym's work to properly make a device that would help people travel through time in the quantum realm, a place where only 2 people have ever been, with one of those people evaporated by the snap and the other being lovable doofus Scott. I thought the first Ant-Man was about how Hank took his work and hid it from everyone, including Tony's dad. And the evil Darren Cross tried to make his own tech that ended up liquefying a baby lamb. And they ended up blowing up Dude's lab. I'm pretty sure they didn't give this tech to Tony. So the result is Tony's a genius, don't think time travel possible. By rule, I think the movie has to do this because the how isn't all that explainable. And the movie is 3 hours, but Jesus. It took Doc Brown 30 years to perfect time travel, and it didn't even require that much explanation because you trusted the amount of time that went into it. This is 100% on Scott here. How did he not notice a motherfucking spaceship about to land a few yards away before he opened the taco?
He won't see you.
Huh. Seems a little weird to reduce a badass character like Valkyrie into a glorified gatekeeper with little agency otherwise. I'm sure this gets rectified later in the movie, though. Let's see. Scrolling, looking. Oh yeah, she takes out one of those Chitauri whale things and gets a half-assed offer to run Asgard now that it's a fishing village. And not the landmark for civilization known across the universe. Thor's fat. Get it? It's a joke for almost the whole movie, except when the movie wants you to take it seriously. Then back to joke. Get it? Of all the bullshit this movie did not need, it's Hawkeye's career as a vigilante. But even more, I can't believe Hawkeye is the kind of guy who can take on a horde of Yakuza on his own. You might say Hawkeye has fought tons of enemies stronger than this, and I say with help.
One side there, Lebowski.
Hilarious reference, but this is a reference to a movie that starred Jeff Bridges, who was in the original Iron Man. Stop with the constant references, especially when they make no goddamn sense. Gah!
Changing the past doesn't change the future.
You see, we needed a way to do time travel where we didn't up the present. So now we're doing the kind of time travel where we create alternate timelines. I'm sure it won't be just as confusing as all the other time travel movies, and there will be no debate about this at all by the time it's over.
If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past, which can't now be changed by your new future.
Are we really just going to leave out the alternative timeline explanation here? Because this reason focuses on the effects of time travel on one individual. It basically says all those new timeline people can go themselves.
So Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit.
I'll have you know Alan Silvestri scored that movie and this one, so you owe an apology to Alan Silvestri and the entire goddamn world who loves that movie.
We only have enough Pym particles for 1 round trip each. And these stones have been in a lot of different places.
They later accidentally themselves into Hank's lab in 1970 and grabbed some Pym juice then. But why wouldn't they just start by going back to a time when Hank was alive and grab a bunch of them then, so that they'd have almost unlimited chances at this? I'm not just throwing out a crazy amateur theory. This makes all the sense. And there are at least 2 super geniuses on this team.
She stuck her hand inside a rock this one time. and then the ether stuck itself inside her.
As cringy and silly as this description is, still beats watching the entirety of Thor: The Dark World. It's almost like you guys were blocked perfectly to get this one shot. I'm sure it was a fluke, and it definitely won't happen again to like all your female characters in a lame attempt to get a girl power splash page later in the movie. I like the Avengers theme a lot. Like, it's one of the most recognizable themes in modern movies, but they lean hard into that in this movie. This would be like Star Wars playing the opening fanfare during all your favorite moments in Return of the Jedi. Movie gives me another chance to send this stupid gun cocking that Black Widow does during the hero shot. Hordes of aliens are raining down on New York, but sure, the fate of the world might end up resting on that Glock. Oh, thanks for the rooftop assist, Ancient One. You ever think of maybe sending some of the masters you know out to the battle, since this directly threatens Earth? Does the threat only have to be mystical before you get off your ass?
We just wait around for this Quill guy to show up.
Why would the Nebula footage start right here, at the most expositional part of Rhodey's dialogue? Why didn't it start, like, when she was peeing? Not that I want to see that or anything, I'm just saying that would happen more frequently than— damn it, you perverts, let's just move on.
As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
This wordplay is funny. Really funny, actually. And even though this movie is overly quippy, I gotta give this one a send back.
Send back for making the ass joke.
And this tiny detail directly leads to the cluster that takes Tony and Cap back to the 70s. It's like the butterfly effect, only hulkier.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. He'll handle it.
Look, this is a great scene. It's even a fun throwback to Winter Soldier in the middle of the 2012 Avengers timeline. But this asshole decides, we don't have to call the director about this, even though he's never been told that Cap is on board with Hydra. I mean, he doesn't even think it might be a trick or something.
Somebody's dead!
I know, and what's really f***ed up is how you could just jump down that open part in the middle and not have to mess with them at all.
And I'm gonna need that case.
Movie makes it seem like ownership of the Tesseract was hotly contested right after the battle in New York, and I'm sorry. If you listen to Nick Fury talking to Shadowy Powers Booth at the end of the Avengers, it sounded like it was up to Fury whether Thor took the Tesseract back, not Alexander Pierce. And Fury thought it was a good thing Thor was taking it away. Also, this is all happening like minutes after the Council decided to nuke Manhattan in the original Avengers, mind you. But the Secretary himself is here in no time? Was he seriously not outside the blast radius when they gave the order? This supposedly secure top-secret government case opens in midair after Hulk crashes through the door. Yes, Hulk is strong, but the case was not touched by the door or Hulk as he came crashing through. If the sheer whiplash of this violence opened the case, then Tony should be dead. This scene brought to you by a future TV series on Disney+.
The Infinity Stones create what you experience as the flow of time. Remove one of the stones, and that flow splits.
Oh, is that so? So, in 2023 present day, with the stones destroyed, what did that do with the flow of time? Or do the atoms still count?
In this new branch reality, without our chief weapon against the forces of darkness, our world would be overrun.
The branch reality discussion confuses this movie a little bit because, according to the rules of time travel in this film, this reality is already different from the main timeline. For instance, in this reality, the timeline wouldn't have a time stone anymore.
I can't risk this reality on a promise.
I'll also require a hunch about what Doctor Strange is going to do in a few years. If I have that, reality risked.
There's another consciousness sharing her network.
Wait, Nebula is on a network? So you're saying that when Thanos was systematically replacing Nebula's human parts with machine parts, he decided to include a f***ing modem?
Where is this other nebula?
In our solar system.
Of course she is. But does it matter anyway? Considering portals and jumps and Bifrost and Captain Marvel assists and all that bull. Seems like pretty much anyone can get from one end of the universe to the other lickety-split.
I'm totally from the future.
It is awesome in a multi-layered way how the time travel gambit not only allows for this movie to correct a wrong, but to also allow some key characters to see their loved ones once more in a completely natural and unplanned way. It's an unexpected bonus, and it deserves a send-off. Natalie Portman's in this movie so briefly that I'm convinced the directors broke into her apartment and just took footage of her waking up in the morning without telling her. Thor totally f***s the Dark World's Thor. There's a battle about to take place here, and you screwed him because you want your hammer back? Sure, Steve brings the hammer back, but Thor doesn't know that someone's going to make a return trip until later when Bruce finds out about the branch realities from the Ancient One. Oh, f*** you. Thanos and Maw have been f***ing around with 2014 Nebula a bunch already, and this is the time you start to glitch.
I am inevitable.
Damn, Nebula's got some sick editing software in her memory banks, considering she was all the way over here, but the camera's fixed on Thanos' left side.
You're repeating yourself, you know that? You're repeating yourself.
You're repeating yourself.
I want to believe that this movie, which has literally been replaying scenes from that movie with the same characters, has some sense of this ironic dialogue, but my sin-hardened heart won't let it happen.
Get this back to the compound. Shoot up.
What's in New Jersey?
Okay, there's no rush to do this. There's no reason not to tell Scott where they're going and why, other than to be dicks. Guys, I've got it. Since we lost the wonderful Stan Lee, let's just cast Mark Maron to stand in for his cameos in future MCU movies. Look at him. It's perfect.
You new here?
Not exactly.
Oh no, this is a real problem for our heroes. This lady's gonna alert the authorities and it's gonna be a huge impediment to them getting back to the future. Look, I know Marvel has an excellent track record with their de-aging tech, but this job on Michael Douglas is straight out of Tron Legacy. Tony's going to fit this Tesseract in this briefcase? I don't think so.
Let's just say that the greater good has rarely outweighed my own self-interest.
This whole sequence is emotional, very emotional indeed, but Howard spilling his guts to an ostensible stranger, along with Cap accidentally into the office adjacent to Peggy, feels so forcibly contrived it might as well be from a standard-ass rom-com. 2014 Nebula goes through the trouble of removing 2023 Nebula's orange headpiece to fool the other Avengers when she takes her place, but she's not going to bother replicating the burned metal Terminator hand that 2023 Nebula has after grabbing the Power Stone. Christian Bale from The Prestige would not be impressed.
But the raccoon didn't have to climb a mountain.
But how do they know to climb this mountain, or any mountain at all? There's an entire planet to explore, but they're positive the Soul Stone is right here?
Natasha, daughter of Ivan, Clint, son of Edith.
Your other parents, they don't matter.
In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love.
Whew, good thing they just happened to send these two bosom buddies up here and not like Rhodey and Scott.
Tell my family I love them.
You tell him yourself.
Sacrificing. This being the second time we've seen a successful acquisition of the Soul Stone, I'm wondering, what the does Red Skull do after this? Does he wait until someone brings it back? And remember, Steve is supposed to come back here later and replace the stone like this never happened. Where does he put it? The fact that this stone is acquired by a sacrifice rather than stolen makes it a problematic stone to return, no?
Can't get her back. Can't be undone.
Well, yeah, it can actually. Since you guys obviously don't give a about other timelines, you can just go back to a time where she's lived and just take her with you. Since you can't change the past, you could go back to just before you did this and take her from there. The other timelines can go themselves. They hate you because they ain't you.
What do you think is coursing through my veins right now?
Cheese whiz?
This is an emotional scene. Natasha is dead. They're about to bring back their loved ones. Thor, who's been racked with guilt and is depressed over his failure to kill Thanos, is pleading seriously with his team to do the unsnap. And Cheese Whiz somehow enters this script right now.
If you remember, everyone Thanos snapped away 5 years ago. We're just bringing them back to now, today. Don't change anything from the last 5 years.
This sounds like a thought that's so complex that nobody could possibly do it right. How do they even know how this snap works? Hooray! Hulk snap brought back all the dead folks to life. But let's think about the practicalities here. What happened to people who were like on a flight when Thanos did his Did they appear in midair and do a Wile E. Coyote shrug before falling to their deaths? Or did Hulk guide them to safety? And how unfair is it that the people who were snapped away off an airplane get to live, but the people who crashed into the airplane just stay dead? And if the people who died were brought back, then check the cemeteries because we have a zombie apocalypse on our hands.
With the stones you've collected for me, create a new one, teeming with life, that knows not what it has lost, but only what it has been given.
So with the stones, he could have literally done anything he wanted, and he chose option Z, cut the population of the universe in half. What a f***ing dick. I was on board with Thanos' thoughtful madness because it made a certain sense for a villain to exercise a cruel intelligence on life in his quest for balance. But now that we know he could create a whole universe, that whole balance thing that he once espoused and I believed in no longer works. He could have created two Earths connected by an accordion tunnel and told astrophysics to go f*** itself while half the population moved to the literal new world. Source material doesn't matter in the CinemaSins universe, but the word on the street is that the comic book Thanos did all this to impress a lady named Death. That's right, the power of boners made Thanos do this, and his actions make way more sense under that context than this does. Iron Man has a clear headshot, and his coldly calculating billion-dollar suit misses like a dick. Okay, fine movie.
Yeah, it's not like a,
Wait, why is the whole army showing up
did
here?
they do the whole fucking, he couldn't
left,
lift
right?
the hammer
So
in previous movies, but now he can.
Thanos is essentially won.
On your left.
This is the moment that got me. You can have your Avengers assemble and your Cap hammer beats, and they're great, but nothing brings the goosebumps like this subtle, humble callback that indicates the mother cavalry's coming. This is the entire movie, right here, 5 sins off. Having said that, this is what you've earned after being subjected to 2.5 hours of fuzzy time logic, overdramatic talky talk, ham-handed quips, and way too many side stories, presumably intended to set up multiple properties that can live on Disney+. This is like sitting through a concert where Hanson plays their entire back catalog, but finally pays it off by playing Mbop as the first encore. I would love to be in the planning meeting with Dr. Strange where he's arranging these entrances like he's the stage manager of a Broadway show. Okay, T'Challa, you're up, baby! Energy! Play to the back row. Now, where's Falcon? Pepper, I'm glad you're here, but you look kind of fake in that suit.
Is that everyone? Like you wanted more?
That's hilarious, but the question was, is that everyone? Not, is this the best you could do? And honestly, yes, I'd want as many as I can get.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Yes! Although, this means we're going to get a stupid jumble of effects-driven bullshit fan service for the next several minutes before there are actual stakes involved, aren't we?
You will not believe what's been going on.
There's probably a better time to explain everything later because we're in the middle of a goddamn battle, but I wanted to make sure you didn't feel guilty about me dying anymore before you yourself die.
Cap! What do you want me to do with this damn thing? Get those stones as far away as possible! No! We need to get them back where they came from.
This might be the dumbest part of the movie, because Cap and Hulk's orders are not mutually exclusive. They should be getting the stones as far away as possible so that Thanos can't get them. And they can always take the stones back after they beat Thanos anytime they want to solve the branch reality problem.
Anyone see an ugly brown van out there?
Yes! But you're not gonna like where it's parked.
Really, Valkyrie? You can see the ugly brown van in the middle of this dark wasteland called New Jersey. Also, I understand the Avengers have little comm things constantly in their ears, but how the is Valkyrie on this frequency? And if all of them have that, how can they hear any one person talking?
If I tell you what happens, it won't happen.
This is absolutely telling him what happens. As I see Ant-Man and the Wasp smiling at each other and shrinking down, I'm once again compelled to ask why they can't fly into Thanos' ear canal or nostril, re-embiggen themselves, and explode Thanos into 100 million balanced chunks of meat.
That,
it's dead.
They
well,
joke about,
spare around you could use to fire that up.
They originally wanted to do it
really?
Ant-Man going up
spaceship a minute ago.
Thanos' ass.
Is, I don't know how all that is going to
Which you think would be a joke until you realize that in Cherry they actually
so many ways. It's like
have a, point of view shot from Tom Holland's asshole.
Here's our acknowledgement of their importance.
So yeah, it's
show up all at once with
weird
no
as hell.
Come on, of all the scenes in the Marvel movies that don't make the power differential clear between two opponents, it's this one. Captain Marvel is worlds stronger than Thanos, and Thanos has taken a beating so far. See what I mean? Now he's got the glove with the stones, and Marvel is doing some shield thing, and somehow he is getting owned in this battle now, and I don't know what to think anymore. During the struggle, Iron Man is able to remove the stones from the nanotech gauntlet. Either there was an ejector button or he pried them off. I don't know what the hell happened. It looks like the stones may have fallen off and landed on the ground, but that could just be pieces of Tony's suit for all I know. But somehow this turns into Tony having possession of the stones, no questions asked. Do they have to turn to dust if you kill a bunch of fools with the Infinity Gauntlet? Like, can you ask them to turn into something a little jazzier? Like confetti? Or Dippin' Dots? Or play slime? Or something, I don't know, less dour? I guess Tony ordered up to make all the Thanos army disappear in front of Thanos before Thanos disappears, snap. If you're the Avengers, don't you get a little worried that Thanos isn't going away during all this? Whoa! How did they know to call Insidious out here? Random kid Tony ran into in Iron Man 3 got an invite to the funeral?
You know, I wish there was a way that I could let her know.
The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King was like, no one would dare do as many endings as our We tested the out of our audience's patience. Then Avengers Endgame came along and was like, hold my pin particle.
You have to return the stones to the exact moment you got them. You're going to open up a bunch of nasty alternative realities.
Which is totally impossible. How does he inject the ether back into Jane in Thor the Dark World, since it's in stone form now? Or does he even have to? Can he just lay it on her end table? The Soul Stone's return is totally ridiculous. Does he find the pool we've seen Hawkeye and Thanos bathing in? Or does he go up to the mountain and hope Red Skull is there? And what kind of reunion would that be? When he goes back to these realities, is he coming the split second they're taken? Or does he have to interact with the Avengers trying to steal them? And if the people who stole the stones aren't there, then how do the stones disappear in the first place? This movie is propped up on creating alternate timelines when you go back to the past, so how can you revisit existing timelines if that's the rule? Doesn't the quantum tunnel bar you from going back to your own timeline?
And returning in 5, 4.
Why are they trying to bring him back? Isn't the important thing that they just keep the quantum tunnel open? Because, as was shown in the 2012 to 1970 jump, they don't even need this platform when they travel through time. I guess old Steve's a mystery, right? Like, did he transport here when they weren't looking? Remember, this whole time he's been living in an alternate reality where he marries Peggy, so he had to transport to get here. Or did he transport to and hide in the woods, knowing this was the day they were sending him back to replace the stones, and snuck over to the bench for a big surprise? Yeah, I'd say they stuck the landing on this. That's a good ending. I'm not made of stone.
Only 104.
All we are is dust in the wind.
Yeah, I mean, he brings up good point. I'm actually gonna try to... I think I'm gonna react to BVS next. Either that or like... I don't know... I know Honest Trailers did one of the actual Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer. I'm not sure if they did any on the... if everything wrong with did anything on like the Zack Snyder Justice League yet, even like the trailer, I'll have to check, but probably also do like a Justice League, the one they did on Justice League. So yeah, I'm gonna go look at the everything wrong with Justice League now. So to compare it, since it is Justice League, to Endgame. And I'm also going to do, because, you know, when they come out with their Zack Snyder Justice League one, of course, I'm going to do that one for that as well. But since Justice League came out before Endgame, I'm curious to see how exactly they do this one.
Jesus Christ, in addition to a full 46 seconds of logos, DC is now turning to a Marvel-style showpiece that checks all their characters. And if that weren't bad enough, they have the balls to include fucking Green Lantern.
Already?
Also, DC...
You really gonna fucking give them shit a sin just because they have a goddamn their own logo sequence now? And bitching about Green Lantern? Fucking really? What? So they give a sin for the DC Comics logo.
Ask you some questions? It's for our podcast.
Listen, there'll be a few times that I'm going to compare this to a much better Marvel movie.
Oh, what a surprise. Already. They are pretty much admitting that they're going to fucking favor Marvel over this.
Yeah, ready? Okay. Discount Spider-Man Homecoming opening.
Man, I used to say that.
So now that they have like a photo, you know, they're taking actual phone footage. Now it's a ripoff of Spider-Man.
To lose. If you dig around, it's usually close by.
So let's review. The S on Superman's uniform is not an S, but it's a symbol that stands for hope. And much like your car keys, hope is usually close by. Except when Superman is saving someone in France while you're in the middle of the woods trying to start your Jeep Wrangler to get away from rednecks, the axe-wielding redneck. Then your car keys are not usually close by. You gave them to Steve Zahn, who was thrown into the S-shaped Hope River near Kent Falls. So I think I understand your similar.
What the fuck was that?
Production studio named as a direct warning of a movie before. Zack Snyder awesomely depicts the news that Superman is dead by showing us a newspaper that pigeons are pooping on hourly, which is about as much respect as I have for the nonsense ending of Batman v Superman.
So, yeah, this is pretty much why I fucking hate this channel. It's because they're so fucking biased. That's not even hiding it. You know, they're actually because I just watched the Endgame one. They actually point out flaws of this, but now this one, they're literally just making up bullshit and showing their hate for other movies to give it sins on this one. So yeah, he's given so much shit to this one already. So I'm fully assuming, because he says Zack Snyder, so he assumes he believes this is the one that Zack Snyder actually wanted to put out. So I know full well that they're gonna give Zack Snyder Justice League. They're gonna try to paint this in a positive light to shit on Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, cool! Someone's committing a blatant crime in Gotham City. I love it when they play the hits. I hope they do. Bruce's parents die after this one. Brings the house down. I'm positive Batman had scoped out this building and found that no one was behind this window that he's goading the thug into shooting at. Safety first, that bats.
Gonna need more alcohol for this. Okay, I'm back. So already, because some fucking criminal shoots at Batman, Batman should have fucking thought ahead of, well, where should I stand so that, this bullet that I don't think he even knows he has a gun, this bullet might accidentally hit a fucking person.
You know what I love best about the Batman action of the previous films? The copious use of slow motion. Batman jumps off a building, assuming that when he tackles a parademon in midair, it will be able to take on the new weight and keep flying. Also, after all this, Batman ends up on top of the same building? How the f*** did that happen?
What the hell?
No, Jeremy, you're supposed to be in character when you say this line.
Good. It's time then.
Well, it's really only time for Batman and Wonder Woman, but you wanted to go ahead and challenge the Avengers franchise, even though there are no movies for the other three.
So,
look.
I bet you they were jerking off to the Thanos when he literally fucking mentioned in whatever Avengers or shit like that, or the one where he's just sitting on the throne. But because we get hints at the previous Justice League members, despite the fact that this actually sets him up to how we find these Justice League members. It shows how brutal Lex is, just how extremely smart Lex is, because he's able to ferret out all these metahumans, and also explains, how they find these Justice League members. And so, apparently that's a sin.
I know the whole world loves Superman and all, but hanging a banner on Notre Dame? Not only is there no fucking way that would happen, look how
So,
the execution
now,
is.
they're fucking bitching and whining because Superman was all moody and everything, and he wasn't saving people, but then we see the effects that Superman had on people, and suddenly it's a fucking bad thing that people would mourn this person who literally died saving the world. Funny, he doesn't bitch about, Endgame when they have that funeral for
also, these
Iron Man.
Are hanging in honor of Superman's death, but I'm cynical enough to think it's DC advertising for the next Superman movie.
Sorry, him giving a sin for advertising for the next movie. This bitch is the one that sat here and jerked off to MCU setting up every fucking movie, advertising essentially for the next movie. But if we get consistent world building in this one, leading into the next movie, suddenly it's sin.
Absolutely nothing seen shown in the opening credits illustrates that when you enjoy putting slow motion in your movies too much, you rob it of any impact it can have. The idea that this asshole kicking a fruit cart scene is on some slow motion level of drama is goddamn infuriating and hilarious. Somehow, Joss Whedon...
So I think it's hilarious, since that was actually a scene Joss Whedon put in, and I have no doubt that in Avengers, everything that they fucking, all this shit that they put in, he fucking sits there and is hysterically laughing.
Whedon found future footage of himself in 2026 and included it in this movie.
So, he fucking references the I tried. And it's like he's pinning it in the positive light. The whole I tried, obviously referring to this movie. He's going to paint all what he believes negative aspect onto Snyder. I'm dying to see what he says about the Zack Snyder Justice League. I'm sure he won't fucking mention at all that Joss Whedon was a piece of shit who's abused cast members.
Aw, what an extremely politely British way to die. I know this movie's gotten a lot of flack for upskirting, but honestly, I think the amount of upsuiting is overlooked. Look, all I'm saying is Wonder Woman is shot completely different in this movie than when a woman was at the helm. And no, I am not above perfect, but this movie isn't red shoe.
It's kind of funny. Because Zack is the director, or he believes in being director of this movie, he suddenly fucking tries to paint every scene with Wonder Woman as pervy. Which is ironic considering that in Wonder Woman, when it was helmed by Patty Jenkins, we actually get scenes with the Amazons where they, they're showing their midriffs and they're wearing short skirts and all of this shit. But because she's actually, we've seen her as she hoists this criminal up. And we're seeing his point of view. He's looking up at her. Suddenly, that's sexual.
Diaries Wonder Woman of Desire, an unproduced script I wrote in 1995.
Yeah, I wonder what he'd think of Joss Whedon's original script for his Wonder Woman movie, where he pretty much treats Wonder Woman like shit. He has these... I believe he has these criminals treating Wonder Woman like shit, like a sex object, or just treating her like shit. I'm just dying to see what he thinks, because I know he fucking loves Joss Whedon.
Folks, this is a movie where Wonder Woman is an equal superhero to all the men, and it's guaranteed we won't be seeing it. It's filmed in a similar manner.
I'm sorry. The fact that this scene is what he fucking mentions about dudes not being filmed in a similar manner. We'll see a shirtless Superman. We'll see a shirtless Aquaman. I don't know if we see, in this version at least, a shirtless Cyborg. But the fact that they very much sexualize, according to his definition, Superman and Aquaman, and yet I know he won't say shit about it.
Back to the Dark Ages and the safety of Holy Fear.
Fucking what? If dude knows for sure they're gonna blow shit up, why even use a timer? Isn't a timer for motherfuckers who want to escape? Okay, Wonder Woman, you can stop posing and defeat evil now. Wonder Woman.
I love how he fucking bitches about her posing. Yeah, but he bitches about slow-mo, so obviously this was in slow-mo, so it took even less time for her to do that. So it was probably like a second where she poses before she goes and kicks ass. I cannot wait for their Zack Snyder Justice League criticism, because I know they'll bitch about her killing people. They seem to do the whole same bullshit. The usual arguments when it comes to Zack Snyder's, they're too violent, they sexualize women, all this bullshit.
Is ruined by no less than 10 cuts back and forth between Wonder Woman doing her acrobatics and Roose Bolton shooting at her, not to mention how she manages to block bullets while she's turned the other way. And since when can Wonder Woman do Flash stuff anyway?
When can Wonder Woman do Flash stuff anyways? She is literally fast. He's literally bitching because we see how fast she is. And that's apparently a sin.
Meanwhile, on a different ridiculously expensive set, also Bruce rides in on a horse, walks some distance to a cliff, and I guess he ends up rappelling down this thing to a town where people know Aquaman. But this is Bruce Wayne. The idea that he couldn't find this place through the air or by some special glacier-busting batship to land...
Yeah, he actually addresses this in Justice League, or the Zack Snyder Justice League, but I expect he'll probably bitch about that as well. Find something to bitch about that as well.
The Aquaman. I hear you can talk to fish.
I can't wait to see how Aquaman's sea powers somehow factor into beating an army of flying parademons from space that probably get sick.
You know, the funny thing is, when he comments that, how, what's Aquaman going to do? Well, one, doesn't matter what he can do. He's he's a metahuman. So they're going to need every single metahuman possible to fight Darkseid, sorry. So it doesn't really matter if he can really, has any incredible powers. He's a metahuman. He's not human. So, it's kind of like trying to find as many bodies to throw at the enemy as possible. So that's kind of what I think of it when it comes to Aquaman. Obviously he's very powerful. He's one of the most powerful beings on Earth because he's protector of the oceans. Oceans make up, water makes about 75% of the Earth. So it's not exactly surprising that he is the most powerful being in the universe. But seeing how he reacts when he goes up against these alien beings that might be more powerful to him, it's definitely more interesting, I guess.
I don't mind if the ocean dries.
How about if they boil?
Dressed like a bat. You're out of your mind, Bruce Wayne.
Are they having 3 separate discussions here that have nothing to do with one another? Is there a reason that this version of Alfred dresses like he ordered everything from the Eddie Bauer catalog? I mean, cargo pants? Seriously?
And this is the days when one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins.
Wait, are they saying this movie is in the same timeline as Batman Returns? Because that raises a lot of questions.
Hurry it up, will you?
Haha, get it? Because he's the Flash? And this guy doesn't know he's the Flash? But seriously, what is it about superheroes where they end up running into the biggest assholes on Earth and they aren't even looking for them?
You can have a life.
All these characters, so little time. Whatever is coming that requires such a team apparently can be beaten easily with all this backstory to cover. And they haven't even tried to resurrect Superman or fight him yet. Essentially, they let the comic book fans fill in the gaps for caring about these characters, lazily introducing them and dropping them off at a movie theater while their parents shopped at the mall.
Didn't think you were ready for them to...
What? For them to see the monster.
You are not a monster.
It's weird that you thought I meant me.
Not really. The logical discussion you were having about you and what others might feel when they see you definitely made it sound like you were talking about being a monster.
I just know he's gonna fucking claim that Zack sexualized the Amazons. Just wait for it.
The most scary... Theme Sparkivia. Thimble Skinny. Timby Thumbing Nut. How could they just
So
name
he's
this
literally
Amazon
just giving
Island?
it sins because he doesn't like names now.
Yeah, man, if that box opens, we're gonna shoot the f*** out of it with arrows. Also, a warm welcome to Steppenwolf, the main baddie that you will forget as soon as this movie is over. I honestly didn't think the CGI baddies could get any worse than Doomsday, especially ones that are essentially humanoid, but...
Oh, yeah, bitch about Doomsday, yet he fucking defeats Superman, doesn't he? So not exactly the worst villain, huh?
See, once again finds a way. A bunch of parademons come through
Obviously
the portal,
not
start
very
shooting up the
forgettable when you bitch about it incessantly, huh?
place, and a whole bunch of whatever occurs. I'd almost rather the director put up an old-timey silent film intertitle up on screen that says, "Bam, Kasui, the Amazons get pwned," rather than watch a dreary
You know
action
what's
piece
funny
like
about
take
this? Is that this scene alone, despite the fact it was butchered by Whedon, is still better than majority of MCU action scenes, and yet he still fucking says, "Oh, you know, this is a dreary action piece."
Also, I watched this action scene frame by frame just to get a sense of what this film thinks it's showing us, and I've ultimately decided that nobody who made this film really knows either. Seeing the mother box get lassoed away makes me wonder why Steppenwolf didn't just grab it and run. He landed right next to it. He has a nifty portal. Why all the trouble fighting the Amazons?
Keep it moving!
What the hell is this plan? Give the all-important life box to some character we've never met, then tell her to ride really fast?
The hell the plan is to try to get it away from him as fast as fucking possible. What the fuck is this? This is literally bullshit. They're literally just bitching about everything. It's not that, that's not that fucking hard to conceive. They're trying to get it away as fast as possible. It might be a suicide mission, but you're gonna try to do it, you know, you're willing to sacrifice yourself to fucking accomplish this. They're Amazons, you know, they're willing to die to protect this.
The only contingency plan they had for this box for the last several thousands of years?
So, I'd love to see what this guy fucking what he wanted them to do. Just curious, what the fuck did he want them to do? You know, they're running away, they're trying to travel somewhere, so what if they're trying to get to some place where they can better protect the box?
Oh no, the yellow spark. The Tesseract. The rabbit's afoot. Mother box is out.
Once
in the open.
again,
So wait, does an
saying
arrow...
that, well, DCU's copying the MCU. Bullshit.
have the load-bearing
You know what I find interesting? I watched Endgame. They never once referenced DC. They only ever fucking just focused on this movie, on Endgame. But in this movie, they're constantly referencing MCU, and it seems like they're trying to imply that DCU's copying the MCU in everything they do. I'm dying to see what they say with BVS versus Civil War, seeing as how they came out at the exact same time.
Flies through the air. Also, mother box. Also, I guess this is actually a clever plan, but what the are these ladies doing all the way up there? They know they don't have the box, and they could have actually been helpful in the fight back by Steppenwolf. Did they seriously expect these arrow shenanigans to work, or are we just going for a cool shot with no thought behind... Oh. Where the f were all these Amazons while Steppenwolf was trying to take?
You know, he's fucking like, oh wait, where are all these Amazons? Well, obviously they were going. Well, it doesn't actually show it in this version. Yeah, once again, I'm curious. I'm gonna fucking die laughing to see, you know, their Zack Snyder Justice League version, where most of this shit is actually answered. And seeing as how they fucking shit on Justice League, or Zack Snyder's Justice League, you know that he's just gonna try to 180, or not 180, but they're gonna try to find some way to shit on Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Soldiers standing outside while Steppenwolf tried to chase after the relay racers, they could have ended this. Does this movie explain how Steppenwolf can use the Bifrost at any time or place that he wants? I mean, I'm sure there's a comic explanation in New Gods #1 from 1970.
Okay, so he comments about, you know, we're gonna look that shit up. I guarantee you this fucker doesn't actually say this shit with the MCU. You know, he doesn't say, oh, well, you expect them to know, kind of, from, just it being MCU or shit. God. So yeah, I mean, let's get going.
Men won't know what it means. Men won't. She will.
Damn it, Queen, this is no time to be playing the pronoun game.
This janitor's wife had some strong words for the aliens she says stole her man.
What's with the glib attitude, man? Everyone in the world knows aliens exist now. From Superman, Doomsday, Zon, so why treat this woman like she's crazy? An alien that only comes down to probe some random dude is the least of your worries. Also, movie has time for this. And yeah, I know this story is about the janitor at Star Labs, but the fact that they decided to update us in tabloid fashion with his foul-mouthed wife makes his disappearance mean even less to me.
You know the banks. Jump like a cougar if you miss by a dime.
Jump like a cougar if you miss by a dime.
Well, I'm dying to see what he says.
That's racist.
It was, hard coming back here at all.
I can imagine. After Arrival and Nocturnal Animals, this just seemed like amateur hour.
He said you could smell a story further away than he could hear.
Speaking of hearing, they're having a pretty f***ing casual conversation about Lois's relationship with Superman here, even though Martha's known as Clark Kent's mom. So anyone that's half eavesdropping, which should be pretty common in a newsroom, should have had the biggest scoop in years.
I'm gonna probably just go watch Avengers after this to see what exactly he says. Because Joss Whedon made that, and so I'm dying to see what exactly he says about that writing and everything. What he says about that writing compared to this, since a lot of these scenes that he's heavily criticizing are actually Josh's fault.
Right about now.
It was about seeing the engine of the world when it still ran.
I swear to God, 80% of the first 30 minutes of this movie is main character has one-on-one conversation with side character about something sad. His headlight went from blue to red. He's been iRoboted. Run, Shia! Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was replacing the hose on this giant aircraft that I work on all by myself, and yet it still runs perfectly. It's boring, but it's part of my life.
You know, I paid millions of dollars for this building's security.
Yeah, it looked expensive.
I guess Diana has ninja powers now, too. She can crack Bruce's, a.k.a. Batman's, security system without being detected. Did she have time to learn that?
They called him Steppenwolf.
When did she have time to learn that shit? It's not like she's, a few hundred years old. 5,000 according to Zack Snyder's Justice League, so. Even so, pretty sure Wonder Woman came out before this, so he knows she's old. So why the fuck would her knowing how to counteract or break into advanced systems be far-fetched?
The end of worlds.
He was a long way from the rockin' sounds of Magic Carpet Ride and Born to Be Wild. But sometimes you can find inspiration from the destruction of planets.
Nightmare creatures who feed on fear.
These so-called nightmare creatures significantly lose their nightmare status when you see them flying around like gnats wielding laser guns. Also, do they really feed on fear? Don't they just do what they're told?
They did okay against the Amazons, and I don't find them to be a particularly fearful group.
I have no idea what's in the power.
They don't contain power. They are power.
Oh!
Allies from other worlds.
How did you get the lanterns to show up during this battle? Or did they just show up on their own? This whole movie is like a crash course while we literally watch the
He's literally bitching about the Green Lantern showing up. We know the Green Lanterns, there are different sectors. And each lantern has a sector of which they police, if you will. Even if you say, oh, well, comics, people don't read comics. This doesn't make it bad just because the Green Lantern showed up. It just, raises question, well, who is this person? And just because it doesn't actually fucking explain it, at least now, doesn't mean that it's fucking bad.
Crashed to the ground.
So, once again, he mentions the DCEU. Funny how they never mentions the MCU when, he fucking, he did the Endgame, even though there's plenty of fucking actual flaws in the goddamn screenplay.
Some say it drove him mad. The disgrace of his first retreat.
Yeah, but wasn't he already a little crazy? Like, didn't you just say his sole purpose was to conquer fools? Do you get any madder than that?
Both sealed and guarded in secure strongholds.
Okay, fine. You had the forethought to separate the mother boxes and put them into secure strongholds. But why on display like museum artifacts? And why not try to destroy them? Burn them in the fires of Mount Doom?
The box of man was buried in secret.
Why the didn't the Lanterns take the box? You left a powerful artifact in the hands of fucking regular-ass dudes, and they're burying it in a van down by the river.
We're asking people we don't know to risk their lives.
What the was that story you just told about all the heroes banding together to fight Steppenwolf? Were all those people friends before then? Quicksilver or Flash or Neo is doing something really fast, so we have to slow it down to show their perspective cliche.
So he's complaining because they slow down this fast scene so that we can actually see what's going on. Oh God, this is fun.
What is brunch? You wait in line for an hour for essentially lunch.
Jesus Christ, Barry is arguably the best thing about this movie, but the poor guy's gotta read bad stand-up lines like this to make him seem extra nerdy. Diana and Victor meet face to face, but why here? Why in public?
$50 and then Zack Snyder Justice League, he'll complain because it's not funny enough, and yet when you have shit like brunch, he fucking complains about it. It's just because he believes that this is Zack Snyder's Justice League, and so he's gonna shit on it.
No one else can do what you do.
How would Diana know this? Cyborg himself doesn't even know what he can do, and it's not like this is a set of powers that anyone's seen before.
I do fine alone.
I told myself the same for a long time.
Yep, and so did literally every protagonist in this movie, at least once.
I lost someone I loved once.
You might say that I pined for him. Also, look, I know...
Why the fuck is that a sin? He literally just made a horrible pun. She said, oh, I lost someone I lost someone I cared about once. So he makes a shitty joke and then she gets a sin. It's literally just finding some reasons to bitch.
The power of love better than anyone except Huey Lewis. But Steve died 100 years ago. Just because the movie came out 5 months before this doesn't mean Diana has to still be hung up on that asshole.
What's this?
So one, he calls Steve Trevor an asshole, which I watched Wonder Woman. He's not an asshole, so why the fuck is he calling him an asshole?
From the sky.
Why would the parademons attack a fishing boat when they've discovered the location of the mother box underwater? I guess we've got to inform Aquaman of the impending danger somehow, but the wanton destruction of these parademons makes no sense. Geez, you'd think someone close to the ocean would be more concerned about littering. If the parademons tore through that fisherman's boat and Aquaman saved him, took him back to the bar and had a drink before coming back to Atlantis, why aren't they already here? Is there any real explanation as to how Steppenwolf knows exactly where these mother boxes are on Earth? And if he can transport with impunity, why did it take him so long to get to Atlantis? And why are all the armies caught completely unaware? Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm sure it's all addressed in the Snyder Cut.
He actually mentions the Snyder Cut, so yeah, he fucking... I'm no doubt he just was snarky. He doesn't actually... He being sarcastic. He doesn't believe that at this time that Snyder Cut was going to come out, but the fact that most of the shit that he bitches about is actually addressed in the Snyder Cut, I'm dying to see what exactly he fucking says.
Huh, looks like Amber heard a noise. Apparently, Aquaman's abilities underwater include punching and kicking. Holy shit, that was easy. There were like 3 people in Atlantis guarding the supposedly super well-guarded mother box. Might as well have done what the humans did. These assholes need to create a space without water to communicate? This is some goddamn bullshit. Where's the underwater telepathy? What makes these heroes so special?
Yeah. You know, I fully expect that when, you know, he does Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're gonna fucking have to find some even more ridiculous things to bitch about, because most of the stuff he's bitching about is actually addressed in that version. And I know he won't give Zack Snyder an inch. He won't admit that, you know, Zack was right the entire time, or that he's actually a good, or at least a writer. He's a good storyteller. So, yeah.
Special underwater.
The firstborn of beloved Queen Atlanta.
Are you guys going to address the fact that the mother box was stolen, and that's a huge development? We saw the Amazons fight hard to keep it in their possession, and the Atlanteans about as tenacious as an Atlanta team in the playoffs.
Mother, I see why you waited to summon me. The Kryptonians' death plunged this timid world into such terror.
Superman is overrated. There. I've said it. Not only was there a time Superman didn't exist, and it would have made the most sense for the mother boxes to call you then, but even when Superman was saving people on the regular, most people never got help from him. He couldn't be everywhere at once, and he spent most of his time in...
So he admits that Superman couldn't be everywhere at once. $50. If I go and watch Man of Steel, he'll bitch about how Superman doesn't save everyone. You know? Is that why he fucking hates Superman? It's because he outright admits that he's not perfect. I just know if I go and watch Avengers, he'll fucking find some... He won't actually fucking say that, you know, Iron Man or Captain America is overrated because, well, he didn't do... he didn't save all these people. They'll just fucking focus on the movie and come up with, you know, point out movie flaws and then... fucking make shitty, you know, jokes. But once again, he's literally fucking showing how he's so biased against DC.
Metropolis. You also have to factor in all the people who were scared that Superman existed because of what it meant for the world at large. That's why Batman v Superman was like watching C-SPAN for 3 hours.
Find the last one.
So, we actually, in BVS, get them talking about Superman and debating whether or not he was... You know, whether or not he was there to hurt them or harm them. And apparently that was, you know, this person fucking didn't like that.
Wait, is he asking the minions to do this? Hasn't Steppenwolf found the other two pretty much on his own? Is he really outsourcing now?
Suspect was a giant bat with huge fangs.
Oh, amazing DC Marvel crossover here, as J. Jonah Jameson finally makes his appearance. Can't wait until there's a power struggle between he and Perry White during the Daily Planet Daily Bugle merger. What a visually arresting shot. Tells the story of Bruce Wayne deboarding his private jet in an uncertain world of Gal Gadasses. Batman jumps down from this gargoyle, as he is wont to do. But why did Wonder Woman and Flash show up?
I like how he actually admits that he's fucking kind of pervy in this movie, but then, you know, judges these fucking shots, and
to the rooftop like normal people. Why did Batman need the grand entrance at all? Do you think Commissioner Gordon wants to tell Batman, cut the shit, man?
So, yeah, he obviously is pointing this out because he's trying to paint Zack as kind of pervy and gross. I'm dying to see what he says now, knowing that Joss Whedon was the one who reshot a lot of this shit, and most of the you know, ass shots and skirt shots and shit like that was actually Zack, or it's actually Joss Whedon. And I'm dying to see what he says. And also, I have no doubt in like the Zack Snyder Justice League, they will focus on the Amazons who, you know, the ones with the hammers who bring down the building. He's gonna focus on them because he's gonna have to find some way to try to paint Zack as, you know, this pervert.
I've seen you 100 times. Your does not impress me anymore.
These lead back to Braxton Island, between the two cities.
Because, in case you forgot that bullshit from the last movie, Gotham and Metropolis are separated by a very short distance, with just a small body of water between them.
Do you really think that...
While I understand Batman and Wonder Woman have methods, does f***ing Cyborg have the ability to leave stealthily? It all sets up this pretty funny Flash moment, I guess.
You've been near the mother box. Her scent is on you.
Strange that Steppenwolf wasn't all over Star Labs from the very beginning if he can smell the mother box, which, by the way, ew. But even more important, if the mother box cries out for him, why hasn't he found Cyborg, a guy made from the mother box, faster than this? That guy is here right now. Just tell me the rules. First off, how does Flash make everything he touches go as fast as him? Second, if he has to wear the suit to stop from catching fire, why didn't Silas? Third, doesn't Silas now have all the whiplash? Man, this parademon is kicking Batman's ass. Just imagine if there were more than one of them attacking at the same time.
Heads up!
Thanks, Alfred. But I'll take it from here.
Please keep firmly in mind that the all-motherfucking powerful Steppenwolf is literally sitting there with his thumb up his ass while the Justice League snaps pithy one-liners. Oh, cool. Aquaman showed up. Was he just waiting outside the tunnel hoping that someone would blow a big hole in it so that he could join the other Justice Leaguers?
You are a distraction. Mother is calling.
Then why the hell did you bring all those humans here to find out where the mother box is? Shouldn't you go find them?
Did he just bail?
Yes, and while you were virtually in the same amount of peril from the rising floodwater as a few seconds ago. Yet we will advance to the next scene without acknowledging any of that.
All he needs now is the last box of men.
She doesn't already have it. He doesn't have it.
But I decided to take it out of its hiding place and show it to you guys out in the open. It was doing fine where it was, but I figured I'd ramp up the danger some more. The parademons are all surrounding this house with the Russian family in it, but how were they kept from going inside? Sure, they boarded up their windows and barricaded the doors, but last we saw them, the windows were not boarded up, and they would have been easy for parademons to break and access. I also call bullshit on barricades and boarded up windows keeping these guys from breaking in, so all of this is worthless to me. Goddamn, even the elevator ride to the Batcave looks fake as shit. Why would you choose to make your elevator ride look fake as shit, movie?
You have no idea what kind of power you're dealing with.
Even if there's a fraction of a chance.
Jesus Christ, Bruce. What is it with you and your low percentage chances? Last time you said some bullshit that if there was even a 1% chance of Superman being an enemy, you had to take it as an absolute certainty. Now you think you can control a mother box to resurrect the very same Superman because there might be a fraction of a chance without even thinking of the potential consequences?
Ironic you could say that since, in Endgame, well, I will admit he does mention how, bringing back the, trying to go back in time and change it will affect the people that are already on Earth. But the fact is that he doesn't have as much hate and ire for that than he does this.
Technology is like any other power. Without reason, without heart, it destroys us.
Like the iPhone.
We are not enough.
Yeah, but it seems like you are, though. Let's look at this objectively and forget that a Justice League movie without Superman is like Journey without Steve Perry. Sure, it's not quite the same, but it's still got a lot of people who can get the job done. Like, if the writers came up with a way that this crew could win with all the resources Bruce has, along with the combined superpowers of all the others, you'd be sold on that, right? And Arnel Pineda might not have super strength, but tell me he can't fly when he sings Open Arms.
You lose something when you die. Maybe his soul.
I'll have a contingency plan for that.
Lois. It's Lois. Even though Aquaman's literally talking about Supes losing the part that would allow him to recognize the people he loves, it's fucking Lois.
I swear I would never
say it.
I'm pretty sure this is Amazonian for skip. What kind of assholes would let the one picture Clark was buried with fall into the goddamn goo? It's not like they didn't see that. It's pretty hilarious to me that they're pushing Clark down into this, still wearing the suit from his funeral. Not only will he return as Superman, but he'll also have a dangerous fashion sense that will make evildoers cower in fear.
The mother box is ready. You have to charge it the moment it touches the fluid.
It's not that Flash can't get there the moment the box hits the fluid, it's that there's a hilariously arbitrary deadline in the first place. Wow, cool, the supers must have timed their caper to happen just before dawn, since it's now daylight, and they went in when it was super dark. Also, let me get this straight. What is the timeline of this movie? They met with Gordon on the roof right before they attacked Steppenwolf in the harbor, so those events happened on the same night. Then later that night they got the mother box leading to the confrontation in the Batcave, which I guess happened the next morning since it's light outside, even though, it's in a cave. Then we smash cut to Flash and Cyborg in Kansas digging up Clark's grave later that night, and finally we journey back to Metropolis, which is definitely not Gotham, for the Supermanazons at the end of that night. So movies both telling me all this happened within roughly 24 hours and that Steppenwolf has been doing jack the whole time. Glad Superman is alive, so that now this movie can officially start 35 minutes before it ends. But where did the rest of his suit go? Well, at least it kept his pants. Wonder Woman definitely would have been PG-13 naked if she went through this. Hey, guys, very important mother box to retrieve. It landed on somebody's car. Hello? Very important f***ing thing. Okay, This is an example of how fun this movie could be, and so we will knock off a sin for this very good moment from a not-so-great film. What the hell took Batman...
Ironic, since that's actually Zack's, that was Zack's doing. So I'm wondering if in Zack's version, if he'll take off the sin for that.
this long. I know he doesn't have the super speed that the others have, but it's the length of a public park, man. What happened to all that CrossFit he did in the last movie?
Clark! I know you.
Why is Clark pissed off at Bruce again? Sure, they had that big fight in BVS, but by the end of that movie, they banded together and had no problems working to take Doomsday out. So,
didn't he say that it would take away their ability? Well, I guess they did take away the ability to recognize them, so.
His last memory should be all like, hey, did we win? Say Martha, man. Just say Martha.
Clark.
Thank God they gave Lois more to work with.
Gotta wonder if he gives us so much shit too with that whole Bucky bullshit in Civil War and in the game where, oh, you know, Captain America says Bucky. Was it Bucky? I don't know. It says the fucking name to get them fucker, you know, Bucky to snap out of it bullshit. No, they use Bucky's name to snap or to distract Captain America, so I wonder if he gives the same shit that he does for the Martha line. You know he fucking jacks off to that.
In this movie than just to facilitate. I'm sorry. I couldn't say that with a straight face. Well, Soups is awake. I guess we'll give him all the time he needs to get his head straight and hope that Steppenwolf will wait to enact his final plan when he's ready to roll.
The mother box.
No no fucking This should have been mission number 1A after it flew out of Star Labs. At least mission number 1B.
It's not like all of you had to ogle Superman's awesome abs.
So you can't find them? Or maybe you don't want to.
Since this keeps happening in every fucking movie, I'll go all caps. Protagonists have unnecessary fight before the climax of the movie cliche. Sure, the fate of the world...
Funny, because it doesn't actually happen in Zack's movie, so I'm wondering what he'll bitch about there.
hangs in the balance, but at least there's time for Clark to meditate and some corn. Seriously, this movie has 25 minutes left. Steppenwolf is probably the least villain ever.
I'm the idiot who left, but I'm back now.
Glad these two are reconciling, but that's gonna be a pretty awkward mustache ride.
You called Mom.
Whatever you want to call it, dude. I guess it's gotta be weird to get your first post-death boner.
Bruce.
Fate of the world, I think that's the deal. He was pretty tense.
Well, I guess I do owe one.
So they're f***ing cool now? Sure, Lois cleared some cobwebs for Clark here, but within minutes he's gone from homicidal to chummy with bats, and here I didn't think a bullshit reconciliation could get any more annoying than the end of Civil War.
Praise to the mother.
Oh wow, he actually fucking bitches about an MCU movie in this. Amazing.
Man, this shit's slow, right? The last time Steppenwolf had the Unity, they had to stop it right away, or the planet would go to literal hell. But this time he's taking so much time that a random village family can escape in that town.
I've been alone my whole life. Being part of something bigger like this.
This is ultimately one of the very few bright spots of humor in this movie, but it all depends on A, Wonder Woman just laying her lasso down anywhere, B, Aquaman not seeing that magical shit before he sits down, C, the lasso activating even though it's not lassoing anything, and D, his ass completely covering the rope so that we don't have the reveal until after his speech. Seriously, who the f*** is this family? And why do they matter? I've honestly lost count, but I'm gonna estimate this is the 143rd hero shot in this movie.
I'm gonna take out that tower and knock down that shield dome.
Wait, you mean that thing is powered by some sort of tower? It is truly insane when a powerful ancient character needs a tower to create a shield dome. Making a hole in the shield is way too easy. Taking out the tower is way too easy. I thought the parademons were attracted to fear, not sound. In fact, didn't this sound just make the parademon go crazy? So why would it pursue the sound? Yeah, maybe to destroy whatever is making it, sure. But you set these things up to follow fear and ended up making them simply annoyed by police sirens.
You won't last 3 minutes.
Hey, how does she know that? Did she talk to the ballerina Bruce brought to dinner in The Dark Knight? While I watch Aquaman wrestle with these parademons, I'm at a total loss as to what he can actually do in this battle that is not in water. So is he just like really strong or something? Is that it? Couldn't Bruce have hired John Cena to be in the Justice?
Really? My fucking god. You're trying to question Aquaman.
Justice League?
Thanks for the lift.
Since when does Cyborg, who moves pretty fast, need Flash to take him anywhere? You know what I wanted to see from this movie? Batman stealing a gun and using it to off bug creatures. That's how you put asses in the seats.
You're all too weak to see the truth.
Well,
I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice.
Thank God Steppenwolf set him up. Superman's been thinking up this entrance line the whole way over here.
All right.
Oh man, Jason Momoa has officially become the Will Smith of the Justice League. Oh no, if only Steppenwolf would try any of his tricks instead of punching or kicking, considering he's like pretty much a god, right?
Civilians. Barry's headed. There's too many of them.
Dude, can't Wonder Woman use her newly formed Flash powers that we saw?
Okay, this fucker's really pissing me off. He talked about, oh, newly formed Flash powers. Like, this fucker doesn't know that Wonder Woman is actually fast. We see her in Wonder Woman where she plowed through a bunch of fucking a bunch of not Nazis, Germans, taking them out. So he has to know she's fucking fast, and yet he's saying that, you know, oh, now she has Flash powers. It really does feel like he doesn't know jack shit about any of these characters. So you can't even say, oh, well, you didn't read the comic books. No, it's actually shown in Wonder Woman, which, I'll remind you, was actually fucking Zack helped write.
At the beginning of this movie to help Barry while you easily dispose of Steppenwolf. And why didn't you just go ahead and disable that guy when you had the chance?
Slowpoke.
Exhibit 67,009 of Superman being way, way too powerful is him being able to keep up with the Flash. What makes Flash special if Superman could do the same thing?
You know what's funny? Is that he's bitching about Superman being overpowered. You know, I won't address that, seeing as how there's, you know, Captain Marvel in Endgame that's overpowered at fucking shit. But the fact is that in the Man of Steel and BVS, it's established that his Superman's parents, especially Jonathan, they instilled morals into him, which counteracts his powers. That is what keeps him from using these godlike powers for evil, because we see just how incredibly fucking dangerous he can be with these powers, because we see like the dream nightmare sequence. Yet they bitch because he's, you know, of Jonathan. They bitch about Jonathan teaching him these morals and kind of giving him this moral code. And we see him, Superman, kind of struggle with it throughout the movie. Yeah, it's just, they really don't want us. They're like, well, you know, they're too overpowered. They're too overpowered. They're too over-fucking powered. And yet when we see them, they have these, like, it's their humanity that keeps them from using these powers to their full potential, if you will. Then suddenly they bitch. It's just fucking frustrating as hell.
I mean, all he's got now is that he can make an electrical charge. And I'm sure if Superman starts wearing fur, he can accomplish that in short order too. So Barry helped the only family we're supposed to care about in the truck, and Superman saved a whole apartment complex? Was someone driving the apartment complex? These are supposedly people who were trying to get out of town, right? So Steppenwolf is just no longer difficult, huh? He was kicking everyone's ass before Superman showed up. But now that Supes is out of the picture again, Wonder Woman and Aquaman can hold their own with very little trouble.
Booyah.
Teen Titans, no. Now that they took out Steppenwolf.
Isn't this what they were bitching about? Superman can't be everywhere at once, but now that he's going and saving some random ass person, he's bitching because Superman's gone.
Wolf, the village immediately turns into the Shimmer from Annihilation. I really fucking hate this family. Looks like Bruce decided to pay for the Kemp farm so that Martha could have her house back. Just wondering though, why didn't he do this sooner? I know it was cool to pay for the funeral in the last movie, and maybe he thought he'd done enough, but it was clear.
Maybe, why didn't he fucking pay for the funeral sooner? Probably because he was too busy fucking bringing the Justice League together and then fighting Steppenwolf. But now that there's kind of a law, he fucking buys back the bank to, you know, help Martha. Ever think of that?
Really a dick move to not do this before now.
Darkness. The truest darkness.
Late movie Lois Lane narration. Here's the Rocky 3 ending for nerds.
All right, stop joking around, Luthor. I'm gonna have to come in there.
So Lex broke out of the Supermax prison, smuggled a dude in that looked like him, then escaped onto his yacht to set up a meeting with Deathstroke? Why couldn't we have seen that instead of this movie?
Shouldn't we have a league of our own?
Wait for him to bitch about the nightmare scene in Justice League.
As long as the characters are never developed and are thrown into a 2-hour movie and we're supposed to just know what their powers are, I'm all in.
Never developed.
You're out of order! You're out of order! The whole trial is out of order!
So, we got 149 cents for Justice League, but only like 100 cents for Endgame, despite Endgame having so many logical fucking flaws. Yeah, like I said, I'm so fucking excited to see this shit. Zack Snyder's Justice League, I know it's gonna be incredibly stupid. It's gonna be like a fucking... it's gonna be like a holiday for me to watch that movie, because it will just show how fucking hypocritical this dude is. Let me see. So yeah, that was my reaction to both everything wrong with Endgame and everything wrong with Justice League. It's obvious that this fucker is biased as hell towards Marvel, the MCU in particular. I don't say Marvel because I have no doubt he'll give the other Marvel movies or MCU movies shit. Because throughout this entire damn movie, he continually referenced how shit the DCU was. And they never said that for the MCU. Constantly fucking, bitched about it and talked about, oh, Marvel is great or bullshit. So yeah, there's something else I was gonna say. Yeah, I completely forgot about it. So, I mean, yeah, if you like that, give it a like, subscribe, get notifications for all my videos, and yeah. With that being said, you guys have a nice night. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe out there. Bye.